Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another self improvement video. Today, we're talking about mental health and why mental health is everything. Now, what's the definition of mental health? Well, the definition is meaning that the health of one's emotional, psychological, and social well being. This is considered the most important health than physical health. Um, of course, in society and now today's day and age, um, we're always so focused, or doctors always so focused on physical health to the point where people don't even bother about talking about mental health, or people don't even realize um, that mental health is a thing, right? People regard this part of their health and definitely has a huge impact in your life, right? If you take care of your mental health, then your other areas of your life gets taken care of, and you don't have any problems. If you don't take care of it, you'll start to have problems, and it will definitely have a toll in your life. um, this is definitely the important topic to talk about, and is definitely common occurring in the younger generation. You definitely see videos of Gen Z having a mental health crisis, or I forgot what month it is, but there was a mental health month. I don't know if it was June or July, something like that. They would have like a mental health month, or I think specifically men's mental health month, where people just check in on how they're doing as a man in their life, right? So, so here's my experience, right? Mental health was definitely a big part of my self improvement journey, and I didn't realize it. You probably like know me as the guy in self improvement, where I just worked out, improved my physical appearance. I just improve the external aspects of life. But the thing that I didn't realize was the part of mental health being a part of my big journey, and not being able to take care of it. But I was able to kind of like take care of it now. Right. I obviously focus on my external and physical health. Right. I generally felt great on the outside, but definitely on the inside, I felt miserable, and I felt like something was wrong. And this is when I realized that I didn't also prioritize mental health. And I started focusing on my mental health and my viewpoint and perspective on life in general. I started going to therapy when there's just nothing wrong. It is something to try, it is something to talk about. I developed focusing on gratitude journaling. I focus on doing a lot of self talk of myself, and realize that um, not beating myself up over the mistakes that I did back then, and started seeing it as lessons, right? So here's what happens if you prioritize mental health. If you prioritize it, you'll experience balance and peace in your life. You'll start realizing that you will have much more control of your mind than you realize, and you will feel much more happier and healthier in life. And what I mean by you have much more of your control, I mean by like the mental stuff happening. You think that, oh, my situation of like my living is, I'm gonna be like this forever. Well, in reality, yeah, you can do change it. There's definitely other ways and other plans to change it. You know, when you definitely start to let go of your past, when you let go of, your past relationship that didn't affect you, you can definitely look at it as like, oh, okay, I can use this as a lesson, and when I get into that same relationship again, I can definitely use this as an advantage. So therefore, becoming happier and healthier. You know, your relationships with people will be improved, and you experience emotional care and reduce stress. When you definitely have a good friend group, when you have a good group of people, definitely have good relationships, and you'll be able to kind of express and talk about your feelings and your problems. When you get that emotional support, that's when you'll definitely be motivated to keep going in life, right? And also, you'll be more focused and become more productive in your work life or school. Um, the problems won't distract you, and if you experience that happiness, that feeling, you feel more motivated in general, right? So what if you don't prioritize mental health? Well, if you don't prioritize it, it can lead to severe consequences to your personal life, right? Um, it can not only have a negative toll mentally, but physically, and it can affect your physical health, right? Um, it can lead to high risk of diseases such as poor immunity and high blood pressure, and if worse, heart disease. There was definitely studies and videos that showed that, hey, like, um, people who have bad mental health, they have a high of stress. If they high levels of stress, especially stress is the biggest factor to it. It can lead to physical health outcomes, and that's something that I didn't know, but it's kind of true. We definitely have, in our body, we have like glands, like adrenal glands, pituitary glands. We have these hormones that, if it, you know, if one day if we're stressed, if we're really stressed, it can affect our hormones, and it can lead to hormone imbalance. It can lead to, a lot of physical health complications, right? So this is something that I didn't know, right? Um, of course, you experience frequent periods of high stress and burnout, which can lead to emotional breakdowns and poor productivity. You won't focus as much. You'll start to you won't sleep as healthy. You won't get the full 8 hours of sleep because you're thinking of um, that period or scenario or situation of that high stress, and you felt like you were burned out, and then you had an emotional breakdown. And also, as well as your relationships with people will be unhealthy, and will be more likely to engage in unhealthy behaviors, such as drug, alcohol abuse, eating junk food, going on to these sexual websites, as a way of coping. It can lead to loneliness and isolation. And it's kind of definitely that study or the saying that, like, being alone is like smoking. I don't know how many packs of cigarettes, but I think 13 packs or 10 packs. I don't know, but um, it definitely affects that. It could also lead to isolation as well. So, what is the solution to this? Well, definitely is to identify and be aware of the problem, right? Um, if you're very kind of like, if you had bad mental health, if there's something that's affecting your mental health negatively, just identify it and just be aware of the problem. Okay, whether for me from work stress, people flicking you off, people just arguing at you, people hating you, just identify the situation and be aware of it, and also seek help if necessary, such as therapy. I put better help because it's common on the internet or something, but seek help if necessary. You know, don't feel bad at yourself, or don't kind of beat up for yourself. You're seeking help. At least you're taking care of that situation. It's better to kind of like prevent it and take care of it than do nothing at all. Find positive activities to improve your mental health, just such as meditating, journaling, praying, etc. There's a lots of positive activities out there. I won't get too deep into it because I know I made videos on it, but you know what I mean, right? That. And just realize that let go of the things that you can't control and focus on the things that you can control. The things that we can control, such as, of course, the economy, the world right now, how you age. Um, there's definitely a lot of things that you can control, right? Um, if you always focus on the things you can't control, it's just pointless. But if you focus on the things that you can control, you can be able to make improvement, and you can be able to kind of better your life, right? And also stop thinking negatively and start to think more positively. Thinking negative is not worth it. I've been there before. I started having negative minds. My mind is always in chaos. I've always been like thinking like, oh, why is the world like this? Why is everyone against me? It can lead to depression, and like I definitely had a lot of suicidal thoughts about it. And I'm glad that I'm still alive today. And definitely having this gratitude of realizing this thing and having a second chance against life, and having a second chance. at life. And the last one, get off of the internet and spend time with nature. It's definitely not natural, not in our human nature to just be on the internet and spend time with nature. Go outside, just touch grass, It's realizing that touching grass is not bad, and realizing that, hey, you will find peace and having that sense of relief, and, it can relieve your anxiety and your stress when you go outside in nature. So, of course, the summary: mental health is the definition of one's psychological well-being. Mental health affected the majority of my self-improvement journey, and probably the other people as well if they're on their self-improvement journey, and if they're not. Mental health is a very big part of our lives, right? If you prioritize it, your life will feel much more better and happier. If you don't prioritize it, your life will be like hell, and you will face severe life consequences. But the most important thing to take away is definitely identify the problem and seeking help. And it's definitely the most important step in taking action and having that progress, that one step closer to that progress and that journey of being mentally healthy. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. My links are in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.